Very recently, India signed Pax Silica. This comes immediately after India and the United States announced a trade understanding. And together, these two developments signal something much larger than bilateral cooperation. They signal a restructuring of global power because the world is no longer organizing itself around oil. It is reorganizing itself around silicon. In this episode of Explain, we're going to understand what Pax Silica actually is, who its members are, what each country brings to the table, what India offers, what India gains, whether this is an attempt to isolate China, and the serious geopolitical concerns surrounding Taiwan, Europe, and U.S. unpredictability. Let's begin. Okay, so what is Pax Silica? Pax Silica was launched by the United States in December 2025. As per US Department of State, Pax Silica is the Department of State's flagship effort on AI and supply chain security, advancing new economic security consensus among allies and trusted partners. Pax means peace, and silica is the base material of semiconductors. The core idea is simple. In the AI century, whoever controls semiconductors, rare earth minerals, advanced fabrication, and energy infrastructure controls global power. For the past 2 decades, Western economies outsource critical mineral refining and midstream processing to China. Today, China refines nearly 90% of global rare earth elements and dominates gallium and germanium processing minerals essential for advanced chips and defense systems. But this is where it becomes more interesting. The concentration of critical raw materials in a single country has major geoeconomic implications, something the world saw when China curbed rare earth exports. That's when Washington realized a fundamental truth. Building chip factories is pointless if an adversary controls the raw materials. So Pax Silica was designed as a full-stack coalition, covering minerals, chip fabrication, AI software, logistics, and energy, creating a trusted technology ecosystem. The focus here is not trade, but industrial sophistication. Who are the members and why them? The founding members include the United States, Japan, South Korea, Australia, the United Kingdom, Israel, Singapore, the Netherlands, UAE, and Qatar. India formally joined in February 2026. Each member is not there for politics. Each is there for capability. The United States leads with chip design, AI models, and capital allocation. The Netherlands holds perhaps the most critical choke point in the world, which is ASML's EUV lithography machines. Without this technology, advanced semiconductor manufacturing is physically impossible. Japan and South Korea anchor high-end fabrication and memory chips. Samsung and SK Hynix are indispensable to AI data centers. Australia brings lithium and rare earth reserves, which shows its upstream strength. Israel contributes AI software, defense tech, and advanced R&D integration. Singapore functions as a secure logistics and financial routing hub for sensitive semiconductor supply chains. The UAE and Qatar bring sovereign wealth, capital, and energy security. In the AI era, electricity becomes strategic. Data centers consume enormous power. Gulf capital and energy make large-scale compute viable. This is a division of labor across the entire technology value chain. Okay, but where does India fit? India's entry changes the scale of the alliance. India offers three major strategic assets. First, demographic scale and data generation. AI models require vast data sets, and India hosts one of the largest digital ecosystems in the world. This massive data generation makes India a valuable partner to fuel and train AI models. Second, engineering manpower. The global semiconductor industry faces a projected shortage of nearly 1 million skilled professionals. India's deep engineering base becomes structurally important. Third, critical mineral diversification. India currently depends heavily on China for rare earth magnets. Through rare earth corridors across Odisha, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, India is attempting to build domestic capability while acquiring overseas mineral assets. India also acts as a bridge to the global south, which makes it politically non-aligned but economically integrated. Is Pax Silica about singling out China? Officially no, but strategically yes. Pax Silica represents what analysts call a silicon curtain. It is not about complete technological separation that is unrealistic, but it is about maintaining a moving technological gap in frontier AI capabilities. Unlike OPEC, which controlled oil through geographic concentration, Pax Silica is trying to control processing concentration by breaking China's midstream dominance in refining and fabrication inputs. However, the situation is more complex. The United States still allows controlled chip exports to China, taxing portions of revenue to fund domestic R&D. This shows that containment is balanced with commercial realism. This is not a Cold War replay, but is a calibrated competition. The Taiwan question. Perhaps the most delicate issue is Taiwan. Taiwan produces around 60% of global semiconductors and over 90% of advanced logic chips. Yet it is not a core signatory. Why? Because the United States is simultaneously trying to reduce dependence on Taiwan by friend-shoring and onshoring manufacturing, which means the United States is bringing production inside the country. But here lies the paradox. Taiwan's Silicon Shield means the world depends heavily on its semiconductor production, which gives it strategic protection. If chip production starts moving to other countries, the world becomes less dependent on Taiwan. And if that dependence falls, Taiwan's strategic protection could weaken. Pax Silica strengthens resilience, but it also subtly reshapes Taiwan's geopolitical position. That tension remains unresolved. Why is European Union not a part? The European Union as a whole is not a core pillar of this system. Some individual countries like the Netherlands and the UK play an important role, but the EU itself acts more like a supporting partner. This is mainly because Europe is more economically connected to China and is politically less unified. Pax Silica requires strong security alignment, which currently exists more with specific countries rather than the EU as a whole. This also highlights growing differences within the Western alliance system. Opportunities for India. If executed carefully, India could gain a lot. Investment in the semiconductor ecosystem, access to advanced technologies, diversified mineral supply chains, a stronger position in AI infrastructure, less vulnerability to Chinese export pressure, and greater geopolitical influence as an important technology partner. In this system, India does not become subordinate. It becomes indispensable, but only if it manages its diplomacy carefully. Conclusion. Pax Silica is not just an agreement. It is the foundation of the AI century. It connects minerals, silicon, energy, capital, and data into one strategic system. It also reflects a shift away from old globalization toward industrial alliances built around security. For India, this is not about choosing sides. It is about shaping the system while maintaining strategic autonomy. The question is no longer whether Pax Silica will change geopolitics. It already has. The real challenge is whether this alliance can manage its internal tensions, tariffs, Taiwan, China, and Europe without breaking apart. Because in the AI century, power will not belong to those who speak the loudest, but to those who control silicon.